Hello, welcome to the Sunday Bible Story Time. Remember our big question from last week? It's about sin. What does it mean to sin? To sin is to think, speak, or behave in any way that goes against God or His command. Do you remember this? Great job. That means that sin is more than just what we do, but sin affects every part of our lives and make it impossible for us to please God on our own. And last week, we talked about the people of Israel as they drew near to the promised land. God wanted them to trust Him and move into the land. Joshua and Caleb trusted God to give His people the land, but 10 of the scouts sent to the land and did not trust God. And as a result, the people were afraid to obey God's command to enter the land. This week, we'll learn about another time when God's people did not trust Him. As usual, the result of their sin were disastrous.
The Israelites did not trust God to lead them into the promised land, so God punished them and made them wander in the wilderness for 40 years. Along the way, the Israelites grumbled and complained. When they set up camp, they complained that they did not have water to drink. "Why did you bring us here?" they asked. "We will die here, and so will our animals." God told Moses and Aaron to stand in front of all of the people and speak to a rock. God said water would come out of the rock. Moses called the people together, but instead of talking to the rock, Moses hit the rock 2 times with his staff. The water came out, and the people and the animals drank. But God was angry that Moses and Aaron did not obey His instructions or believe His power. So God said Moses and Aaron would not lead the Israelites into the promised land. The Israelites continued through the wilderness. Moses sent messengers to ask the king of Edom if the Israelites could travel through his land. But the king of Edom replied, "No, I won't let you go through our country, and if you try, we will attack you." So the Israelites had to travel around Edom. The journey was long, and the people continued to grumble and complain. "Why have you led us from Egypt to die in the wilderness?" they asked again. "We have no bread or water." God disciplined His people by sending venomous snakes that bit the Israelites, and many of the people died. Some of the people realized they had sinned by complaining to God, so they told Moses, "Please ask God to take the snakes away." Moses spoke to God for the people. God told Moses, "Make a snake image and put it on a pole. When anyone who is bitten looks at it, he will recover." Moses made a bronze snake and mounted it on a pole. Whenever someone was bitten, that person looked at the bronze snake and recovered.
Today's Bible story is from Numbers chapter 20 and 21. And it's interesting to me that Israelites who refused to enter the good land God promised were blaming God and Moses for leading them aimlessly through the wilderness. The people had a chance to move out of the wilderness and into the land with good food to eat, but they were too afraid. Their wandering in the wilderness was their own fault, a direct result of their previous sin. God disciplined His people for their sin by sending snakes into the camp to bite them. But God didn't just discipline them, He also provided a way for them to be saved. God told His people, look at the bronze snake to be healed. Even when giving them hard consequences they deserve, God also showed them mercy by giving them a way to be healed. This story is a clear reminder of the way God showed us mercy through Jesus.
sky. You give me breath and all your love. I give my heart to you. I can't stop falling in love with you. I'll never stop falling in love with you. I can't stop falling in love with you. I'll never stop falling in love. Come on, better than the riches of this world.
Better than the sound of my friends' voices.
Better than the biggest dreams in my heart.
And that's just the start.
Better than getting what I say I need.
Better than living the life that I want to.
Better than the love anyone could give.
Your love is.
You hold me now in your arms and never let me go. You alone, Lord, make the sunshine come and the moonlight shine in the nighttime sky. You give me breath and all your love. I give my heart to you. I can't stop falling in love with you. I'll never stop falling in love with you. I can't stop falling in love with you. I'll never stop falling in love. I can't stop falling in love with you. I'll never stop falling in love with you. I can't stop falling in love with you. I'll never stop falling in love. You hold me now in your arms and never let me go. You hold me now in your arms and never let me go. I can't stop falling. I can't stop falling in love with you. I'll never stop falling in love with you. I can't stop falling in love with you. I'll never stop falling in love. I can't stop falling in love with you. I'll never stop falling in love with you. I can't stop falling in love with you. I'll never stop falling in love. Come on, put your hands.
The Israelites faced a huge problem because of their sin. God sent snake to punish Israel, but anyone who was bitten could look at the bronze snake on the pole and leave. Because of their sin, because of our sin, we face a huge problem. We separate from God. We deserve to die, but anyone who looks to Jesus, who was hung on the cross and trusts in him, will live forever with God.